Hey, we're back at it again on r/AmITheA, and I have a whole lot of terrible stories to share with you today, and we're gonna go out of our way to determine who in the situation is terrible. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Our first story comes from user DCW92. My sister's getting married in July. Family-only affair at a family house due to COVID. I offered last month to book hair and makeup artists to do her, my, and our mother's hair and makeup for the day. She told me a few weeks ago she doesn't want to wear makeup, which doesn't surprise me as she rarely wears it, but today she told me she didn't want me booking anyone for our mother and that she didn't want us to wear makeup at all. That's a little funny. Already it sounds really strange. It's cool that she doesn't want to wear makeup during her wedding, but what makes her have the ability or the power to tell other people not to put on any makeup? I'm catching a couple of strange vibes from this woman, but hey, let's see where this story goes. I messaged her privately to say I was very happy to do my own makeup and could do a natural look to fit the theme, and she told me that I wasn't to wear any makeup and that was what we wanted. She insinuated a few weeks ago that her fiance told her not to wear makeup on the wedding day, but that's a separate conversation. I told her that I wouldn't feel comfortable not wearing makeup and was happy to do a very natural look, foundation, concealer, and mascara. And she now insinuated that I wasn't welcome. I'm her only sibling. I have oily, severe acne skin and self-confidence issues. I would look beyond terrible in the photos and feel so uncomfortable the entire day, and she will plaster these photos all over social media. Am I the asshole for being upset, or should I just go with what she wants? No, you're not the terrible person in this situation. It's kind of obvious why she doesn't want you or your mother to wear makeup. She doesn't want you guys to take away from her moment. You guys wearing makeup would almost certainly point out the fact that she isn't wearing any makeup, and people might think that she looks ugly on her big day. And there's nothing wrong with wanting people to, play themselves down in your moment. It's about you, and you want the attention on you. That makes sense, but this is a terrible hill to die on because it's your family and it's makeup. Are you really going to burn bridges and damage your relationship with your only sibling over makeup? And your sibling was willing to play herself down. She was saying she was going to go for a natural look just to make sure she doesn't take away from your moment. But no, you still wanted to be selfish and very unfair towards your family. So yeah, you're not a terrible person for wanting to wear makeup and wanting to look good during this event so you can feel comfortable with yourself. And if I was in your situation, I would totally drop the natural look, angle, or try to, play it down that way. I would just go all out. I would make myself look like a supermodel because you went out of your way to be a butt about something so mundane. Our next story comes from user AmITheA roommate throwaway. I, male, 23 years old, have a friend, 22 years old, male, who liked a girl in our friend group for a long time. I'll call the friend William and the girl Lena. They've been friends since around sophomore year of high school, and William confided in me multiple times that he wanted to confess his love for her someday. I told him that if he did do so, not to do a grand gesture as to not put her on the spot and make her uncomfortable. It wasn't a love at first sight thing, but as he got to know her, he loved her personality and how nice of a person she was. He also mentioned that he did indeed like how she looked, but he isn't that shallow. So one day while we're driving somewhere, he didn't tell me where, he tells me that today is the day I'll tell her. So I'm thinking he's gonna do it while it's in a private setting, at least to make her feel comfortable, right? Nope. We pull up to an apartment building. I recognize it as being the one that Lena lives in. He doesn't stalk her, and he did say that he was coming over to visit, which Lena was fine with. Oh man, you know what type of moment this is? It's a type of moment that you have no control over. This dude, as much as he wanted to help his friend, had no control over what his friend was going to do. It's more than obvious that this guy is a little awkward, and I feel sorry for you, man, because you just have to watch it happen. These moments are learning moments, and hopefully, whatever this guy does, he grows from it. When we're getting out of the car, he gets out a small plastic bag with what I see are roses, and another small black object. When we get to her door, he kneels on one knee and asks for me to knock on the door. Oh my god, what I'd pay to watch this situation unfold. I'm feeling sort of uncomfortable here at this point, so I make up an excuse and I'm just like, nah, this is your thing, you should do it. Which he accepts as a reason and proceeded to knock on Lena's door. She opens it and finds William on one knee with a bouquet of roses, belting out Neo's Another Love Song while it's playing on the little black object, which ended up being a Bluetooth speaker. Whew, okay, it was just a Bluetooth speaker. I was thinking that it was going to be a ring box and this dude was going to try to propose Or, oh, that would have been even better. At least for all of us listening. For him, it would have been terrible. A really awful decision. I'm glad it ended up like this. He played the music very loud, and it caused Lena's neighbors to look out their doors to see what the commotion was. This made Lena very uncomfortable, and she politely asked William and I to leave. He looked heartbroken and walked back to the car. I apologized for him to Lena, and she understood that I didn't do anything, and she said she'll talk to William about it later. When I get back to the car, William is crying and asking, "Why didn't it work? I thought I did everything right." I said I told him not to do a grand thing for her and that his rejection was inevitable. He called me an asshole and got out of the car and got an Uber home. I don't know if I am the asshole, but I wholly accept it if I am. Dude, it's obvious that you didn't do anything wrong. I'm surprised that you even put this on the subreddit. A lot of these stories are on this subreddit. It's ridiculous. It just seems like a lot of people wanting validation for their obviously right actions. But let's just say that this is all true, right? And he genuinely called you an asshole and you genuinely are questioning that. You aren't, dude. You did the right thing. You helped your friend out. You let him fail. You let him fall. At least he knows that you trust him. Trust his decision making enough to let him fail. And all you can really do is just be a good friend and help him grow. You didn't do anything wrong, man. Our next story comes from user AmITheA Emasculator Maybe. My fiance and I have been together for about 6 years, engaged for 2, and after we got engaged, we sat down and had the deal breakers talk. Basically things in our lives, our futures, hypothetical situations that'll leave little room for compromise, i.e. adopting children, finances, family boundaries, religion, etc. One of the things on my list was no prenup. I'm not here to debate with anyone about their use. I just think that if you're preparing for divorce before even getting married, it's a sign that you're probably marrying the wrong person. He agreed and everything was fine. Lately, his family, particularly his mother, keeps bringing up signing a prenup. I've told her no many times, said this is an issue between us, and we'll discuss it privately and make our own decisions as a couple. He also tells her no, although more weakly. Well, last night we went there for dinner and she brought out an actual prenup drafted by her lawyer. She put it in front of me after dinner and told me to sign. Obviously, I didn't even read it, let alone sign it. And like that, the problem arises. Prenuptials are a funny thing. A lot of people see it as a admission that you are unsure of the marriage and that you're concerned with money, and the reality is that prenuptials are just a marriage contract. It's more or less meant to iron out all of the wrinkles if the marriage were to end. It's essentially telling everybody what they're going to get, how they're going to get it, and how it's going to go down, and it limits a whole lot of pettiness. But interestingly enough, a lot of people don't know that finances aren't the only thing that are on prenuptials. Anything from untimely death, emergency contacts, who can speak for you if you can't speak for yourself, if you are incapacitated or you're in prison or whatever, anything can be on that contract, but more or less people use prenuptials to make sure that everybody knows what they're going to get if this marriage were to end. And I can see how that can be very unromantic, so I know where this woman is coming from. But her fiance's mom is way out of line. This is a conversation between her and your son, woman, not you and her. You don't put a contract in front of somebody and tell them that they have to sign it right there in the middle of a restaurant. How uncouth could you possibly be? How rude could you possibly be? And even if this woman was receptive to signing a prenup, why would she sign one that you drafted for her? She has no clue what's on that sheet of paper. She hasn't been in contact with that lawyer. So what did you expect her to do? She called me a gold digger. No one, including my fiance, stood up for me, so I stood up for myself. I told her that there is no gold digging happening here, and I make 4 times as much as he makes. I'm an MD, and he dropped out second year. I've paid off all my student debt, and he has over $100,000 left. I have my own house, ample savings, and certainly will inherit more from my parents than he will from his. They have 6 kids and are middle class. So what is she worried about? You know, that shut her up real quick, and especially when my sister-in-law then said, if anything, he's the gold digger here. Wow, you're that successful and you're against a prenup? If anything, it would protect you. I would absolutely rethink that decision, because if he ever divorces you, he's going to be taking you to the bank, and you're gonna pay a lot. My fiance is now angry with me. He said it was emasculating for his family to know I'm so much more successful than him, and his brothers are making jokes and changed his contact info to gold digger. Personally, I don't think I was rude or out of the line, but he thinks I was an asshole and could have handled it better. Am I the asshole here? No, you stuck up for yourself. And your husband needs to get a grip. If he genuinely feels emasculated, which isn't hard to imagine, he could always go back to school and attempt to out-earn you or at least earn more. If he's tired of being the house husband and is feeling a little cucked because his wife makes more money than him, he needs to make the effort to make more money. And from the title of this story, you included the age of your husband. He's 38 years old. And he still has his mother in his business? His mother is still writing prenups for him and rudely confronting his fiance? This dude needs to grow up in more ways than one. He needs to get a grip about this emasculating feeling. If he wants to feel masculine, if he wants to feel like he's the breadwinner, go get that money, dude. Go get that bag. And if you don't want to, that's more than fine. But you gotta drop that ego and pick up that vacuum cleaner. The whole house needs to be clean before your wife gets back home. And our final story comes from user Barely Dad. To start, my ex and I were 19 when she got pregnant. We had recently broke up and she found out a couple weeks later that she was pregnant. She said that she planned to get an abortion, but only wanted her sister there. So I was always under the belief that she had aborted. She only contacted me once saying it was done, and we didn't speak again. Fast forward 19 years later, I found out a month ago that it was a lie. My ex passed away 3 years ago, and my daughter Kara has been living with her uncle. Whoa! Oh man, that is messy. That is very messy. This guy was a father for 19 years and had no clue. Poor kid, I wonder what she thought. Her whole life without a father, all because her mom wanted to hold up a lie? I don't even get how she would benefit from something like that. She really put herself in a difficult spot. By claiming she had an abortion and not going through with it, it makes it difficult to circle back around and ask for child support when you realize raising a child with one income and no additional help is extremely difficult. And it's really funny because in reality, there was nothing preventing her from doing that. She could have gone to the court and requested for child support, but it would ultimately open her up to the argument that she's an unfit mother for lying to her ex about getting an abortion. Oh man, like how messy can this story get from here? The uncle was the one to reach out and give me a heads up after she expressed an interest in wanting us to connect. He and I spoke at length because I was feeling some pretty strong emotions, like rage, for never being told about her. My ex had backed out of the abortion but didn't want me involved because we were broken up, so decided just to not tell me. But he told me that Kara doesn't know that. Apparently, I wasn't ready for fatherhood because we were both young, so I bailed. And like that, it's gotten even more messy. Now, your own daughter views you negatively because your ex doubled down and had to dig her feet into this lie in order to maintain this very, very grimy situation. You went out of your way to deprive your daughter of a father because you needed to maintain a lie. Like seriously, how terrible could someone be? I couldn't believe it. Rob, her uncle, told me he knows his sister was wrong for that, but promised Kara doesn't have any negative feelings towards me, and my ex never painted me as some villain, just a young guy who knew he couldn't properly care for her. That doesn't matter. In her perspective, you abandoned her. At least that's what her mom told her. She is never going to take that rationalization seriously, because deep down, all she wanted was a father, and her mom deprived her of that. He asked me not to tell Kara this when we talk if she asks, because it could hurt the way that she views her mom. I never actually confirmed I would. Kara messaged me and we've been talking. I've met her twice and it's been crazy emotional, looking at this girl who looks just like me and hurting that we're just barely getting to know each other. So far, our conversations have only been about what her life was like, how my life is, what her wants/future goals are, and getting to know each other. We met again Tuesday, and she finally decided to ask obvious questions about what made me not be involved. How did I feel? What went through my mind? Did I ever think about her? Etc. Oh man, here it comes. I had been thinking about what to do, but in that moment, I just didn't have it in me to lie, so I was honest. That I was told about the abortion, had no idea that she existed until now, but I still really want to be in her life and have the chance to be her father, if she wants that. Kara was a bit emotional. We talked some more, and she said she wants me to be involved. That night, my messages were blowing up, not just from Rob, but her grandparents as well. They're all outraged for telling Kara about her mom because she yelled at all of them and is refusing to even take their calls. Yes, the lie was terrible, but I just ruined the image she had of her late mother for my own benefit. Rob called me a selfish dick for not taking into consideration how this would affect Kara finding out about this. So right now, I feel like shit. I get honesty is the best policy, but in this case, I don't know if I was an asshole for doing it. I'm still learning this whole dad business, so I don't know if I dropped the ball here. Oh my god, you're really thinking that you're the terrible person in this situation? Your ex is at fault. She's the one who lied. If she'd gone through with the abortion like she said, none of this would have gone down. If she chose to keep the child because she's uncomfortable with the abortion, she should have told you. Instead, she deprived you of your daughter, deprived your daughter of a good childhood. And now, even after her death, your daughter's now going to have to struggle with the fact that her own mother didn't want her, and her own father didn't know that she existed. That is a ton to come to terms with, and none of that is your fault. But wait, there's more! I made this post a couple months back, and I just wanted to share what's been going on. This was a really big mess, and thank you for all of your reassurance, for telling me that Kara deserved to know the truth. There was some guilt that I carried from you for days until she called me again, now that she had time to process things. Kara thanked me for being honest about what happened, and we've had a deep conversation about what she's going through. She and her mom always had a strained relationship even until she passed away, so there's still a lot of anger and resentment she never got to have closure for. Now learning this new lie her mom told her about me, well, it opened a lot of other mixed feelings. She has been in therapy even before her mother died to deal with their issues, so Kara is working this out with someone, which I'm happy to know. Many of you were suggesting therapy for her, so at least she's already had that down. My daughter's still mad at her family. She talked to them a couple of times before stopping communication. Kara knows she'll forgive them eventually, but for right now, she says she wants them to live with the consequences, so she hasn't had any contact with. I did express my concern over her shutting them out, but she says it's not forever. She's still trying to process this betrayal and to get to a place where she'll accept them back into her life. At this moment, she's still living with her friend and wants to keep things that way. So far, she's declined any financial help that I offer. She just wants to work out her anger and let them sit with this for a while. I had to do some blocking still for my own peace of mind. Things are a work in progress, but I'm happy to report that we're getting along fine. Kara's been over so many times and has met my fiance. We're learning so much about each other, even if sometimes it's hard not to get over childhood memories she talks about knowing I couldn't be there for them. Still in the process of finding a therapist for myself, because this has been pretty heavy on me too, and I still have no idea what the hell I'm doing as a parent. Thanks for all the words of encouragement and all the advice from fellow parents. Well, at least there's a good ending to some extent. It's crazy how one person caused this much damage and this much drama, but at least there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? Everybody's getting therapy, and those who need to be ignored are being ignored. I know I would do the same. I'm not talking to the rest of my family after being lied to about something so serious. That's really terrible, and it's not because they were trying to protect Kara in any way. It was just protecting the legacy of the mother after she passed away. It's ridiculous. No, you should tell the kid the truth. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know what you think about any of the stories that we went over in the comments down below, and yeah, I'll catch you guys at the end. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ailurus, aka Panda Daddy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, let me know in the comments down below, and leave a like if you liked the video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, fam. What you doing watching videos and not subscribing? And if you're old, make sure you hit that bell so you get these notifications every time. There's gonna be another upload today. We're gonna be putting out r/Morbid Reality episode 4. So if you're looking forward to that, go ahead and keep your eye on the channel, because that's gonna be dropping probably an hour after this video. We'll see. It'll be there. You have nothing to worry about. And as always, we have to thank the Patreon supporters that make these videos possible. And a big thank you to Light 1636, Broken to Asters, Jackson, The Business, Lady Laughs a Lot, Brett, Mina the Swifts, Esau, Izuku, Destroyer, Trey, Muffy Luhu, Noah, Vermont, John Robinson, Eva, Catherine Taylor, Arjun, Hannah, Keith Myers, Will Billy, Dustin, and Hostmar. Thank you so much for your support. It is greatly appreciated. And if you want to help support the channel, there's 2 links in the description, one to my merch store and one to my Patreon. Both funds go directly to the channel so we can maintain what's happening here. And as always, stay zesty.